Now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. President Trump stormed out of an interview over the weekend with Meet the Press after host Kristen Welker disputed his claim that the 2020 election was rigged, though I'm not sure you can call this a storm. That's more like a slow-moving fog bank. That's right, President Trump stormed out of an interview with Meet the Press. I guess he doesn't like it when the questions are a little harder than, is this a camel? That's right, President Trump stormed out of an interview with Meet the Press and told host Kristen Welker, quote, "Let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling." Wow. Usually he only says that to his wives. During the same interview, President Trump suggested that his so-called anti-weaponization fund may be used to compensate Capitol rioters and said, quote, "If it was up to me, I'd pay them the kind of money that they deserve." Oh, so Confederate money. President Trump is set to attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight at Madison Square Garden. And, oh my God. So imagine how it's going to go at the game. Officials warned fans that there will be a TSA-style screening procedure, and get there early so you might make it in time to get to your seat for Game 4. Ahead of President Trump attending tonight's NBA Finals game, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that there would be extra security procedures, but added, quote, "I think fans are very understanding of that. Oh, sure, if there's one thing New York sports fans are known for, it's their patience and civility. Take your time up!" After Olympic speed skater Jordan Stolz let President Trump try on his gold medal at an agricultural roundtable event on Friday, Trump joked that he would be keeping it and added, quote, "I like gold. Yeah, we've noticed." That's like this guy saying he likes tricks. President Trump held an Oval Office event last week to announce new coal initiatives and called the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool a, quote, "reflective lake." It's like listening to your mom trying to remember the name of a TV show she liked. Oh, you know the show, Mary's Going Bankrupt. That's it. During an agricultural roundtable event on Friday, President Trump said that the war in Iran is, quote, "largely finished," though largely finished is not something you want to hear from a guy who's in construction. Yeah, we got to do the plumbing and the wiring and some of the wall. It's largely finished. Now, you can't live here. New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani announced plans last week to extend the hours at the city's ballparks for the summer in case anyone wants to fit in a little extra practice. And definitely would have used a picture where Mets was more readable. Even the New York, let's just try to get as little of the jersey. Even when they try to take pictures of the Mets now, they're like, no. I don't want my friends at home to know. Finally, today was rapper Kanye West's 49th birthday, featuring a performance from his favorite artist. In a new interview, President Trump said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would have to accept any ceasefire deal the U.S. makes, and added that Netanyahu, quote, "won't have any choice. I call the shots. I call all the shots. He doesn't call the shots." And then, since he said shots 3 times, Pete Hegseth magically appeared. While speaking to reporters last week aboard Air Force One, President Trump said that the U.S. made $50 billion after it took a 10% stake in the semiconductor manufacturer Intel, and added, quote, "I did a very good job. I should be a stockbroker." Then go be one. There are so many other jobs. There are so many other jobs you clearly prefer. I've never seen you more happy than that. Oh, wait, one time I did. That's right. He seemed happy. President Trump yesterday officially nominated his former defense lawyer and acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to be in the position permanently. Oh, come on. If they're going to let him get away with installing one of his personal lawyers as AG, at least make it the fun one. It's like they told him right before the photo was taken that it was for this. Yeah, you can take my picture. What's it for? Seth Meyers. Former President Joe Biden suggested last week that his new memoir could be published as early as September. It's expected to be the next book that Joe Biden accidentally buys. Hey, this looks interesting. Look at this. Guy's from Scranton, too. During an Oval Office event last week, President Trump announced plans to build a promenade attached to the back of the Lincoln Memorial and added, quote, "They want to call it the Trump Promenade." Who's they? The voices? New York Times published a report yesterday on how Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has isolated himself from most of his department's top staff. To be fair, they're all afraid of catching the measles. A hedge fund founder recently listed his Hamptons compound for a record $152.5 million, or 2 tickets to Game 4. 0.5. 152.5. Just do 152, dude. And finally, a personal trainer in England recently set a world record by eating 162 Oreos in 5 minutes. It was the record for worst personal trainer. A video has gained attention online that appears to show President Trump sleeping during Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden with the Knicks up 2-0. Maybe the loudest thing I can imagine sleeping through. His white noise machine at home must be set to explosion at the fireworks factory. President Trump today signed a $70 billion immigration enforcement funding bill into law. There's now so much money devoted to keeping foreigners out of the country, the U.S. might just win the World Cup. When asked today, why not? Why not us? When asked today about the Labor Department's new inflation numbers, President Trump said, quote, "I love it. I love the inflation. Are we sure this guy is a master politician playing four-dimensional chess? Because I'm getting the vibe of a guy who's hopelessly lost in a McDonald's placemat maze." During an Oval Office event today, President Trump said the construction was completed on the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool and added that it is, quote, "twice the height of the Empire State Building." What? No, it's a pool. It's like -3 feet high. How do you survive in the construction business if you don't know the difference between height and length? I guess we should be glad we only have to walk by Trump Tower instead of walking over it. In a post yesterday on X, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick praised the renovated Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool and added, quote, "Thank you, President Trump, for restoring our city's national treasure." I don't know. It's kind of hard to say he's restoring D.C. when there's currently a Monster Energy drink logo on the White House lawn. I mean, also, if they're going to do something this gross, can they at least send him a case? That's a guy who did not have his Monster. According to a new report from the New York Times, Vice President J.D. Vance argued for releasing all the Epstein files. To be fair, he just wanted to release something that people actually want to read. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates testified today before the House Oversight Committee about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, along with the help of his lawyer. One day, Clippy jokes are gonna stop working, but not today, Baze. Not today. Researchers published a study this week that attributes falling U.S. fertility rates on the invention of the iPhone, I guess because it made it easier to look up the cost of childcare. The NYPD on Monday arrested 21 people following the Knicks' loss in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Remember, if you want to get away with assault, it's gotta be during the game. Authorities in Australia recently arrested a man and seized more than 100,000 live cockroaches that he was allegedly breeding illegally. He was breeding them? I feel like you can get the same results by leaving a pizza on the counter. And finally, an Air Canada pilot was arrested this week after an investigation uncovered that he has been flying for at least 17 years without a proper license. If convicted, he could face up to 5 years at Frontier. President Trump is set on Sunday to celebrate his 80th birthday with a UFC fight on the White House lawn. I don't know what the hell you guys did, but you have to go back and fix this. That's right, President Trump is set on Sunday to celebrate his 80th birthday, but unlike other 80-year-olds, he doesn't like to remind you how much things used to cost. President Trump threatened today in a post on Truth Social to seize Iran's Karg Island oil export hub. And man, if you ever want to sound like a supervillain, a great way to do that is to threaten to seize Karg Island. Sounds like the line they make you read when you audition to be the voice of Skeletor. I will seize Karg Island. Was that good? Was that good? Should I do it again? President Trump, thank you. President Trump announced in a post on Truth Social today that he has canceled scheduled strikes on Iran due to ongoing peace talks and added that the time and place of a signing ceremony will be announced shortly. Okay, so last night you said you were going to bomb them. This afternoon you said you were going to invade and seize Karg Island. And now you're announcing a peace deal? You're like the boy who cried wolf if he also cried every other animal. Wolf, giraffe, platypus. President Trump, in a post yesterday on Truth Social, asked Congress for an additional $350 billion in military funding to use in part to, quote, defend the homeland with the Golden Dome. Dude, okay, you got the part. We must defend the homeland with the Golden Dome. Yes. You'll be mine soon, Karg Island. First Lady Melania Trump hosted an event at the Treasury Department today to celebrate the launch of a new initiative that provides foster children with savings and investment accounts so that, God willing, none of them will ever have to marry for money. A California estate. What? A California estate that served as a filming location for the 1980s soap opera Dynasty was recently listed for $45 million, which includes a tennis court, greenhouse, and reflecting pool. Though if you're old enough to remember Dynasty, maybe stay off the tennis court? A 7-year-old in Pennsylvania recently set a Guinness World Record after putting on 50 sweaters because his dad made it very clear what would happen if he touched the thermostat. Finally, the congressional baseball game was won last night by the Republicans, who defeated the Democrats 11-2. And I'm not saying they cheated, but I'm pretty sure there's no Senator Otani from South Dakota. And that was a monologue, everybody.